I give a quick update on the garden now that temperatures at nighttime are finally getting to the stage where I can plant, which I'm hoping to do in the next day or two, as well as I'm going to transplant some of my seedlings that I'm giving away, and some of my friends are coming this weekend to pick things up, so hopefully the deck won't be quite as crowded in the next week by next weekend. But here's a quick update on where things stand. Here's how the deck looks right now. These are tomato, I think that's cucumber, or that's a crookneck squash. That is lemon balm, some basil I accidentally kicked, but looks like it's surviving. You can see, tiny new, whole bunch of stuff. The potatoes, I'm definitely going to have to add more soil, as you can see. Yeah, there's a lot. So I need to add soil so the potatoes can grow, and that's probably the last time I'll fill up the bag all the way to here, maybe a little bit under, so that I can water it still, but that'll be the last of my filling the bags for potatoes. This is chamomile, and it looks like it's about to bloom, which is awesome. I love chamomile. Oh no, yes, this is chamomile. I think I have calendula somewhere. These are the jugs I opened today. There's mostly peppers that just need a lot of heat. There's a couple jugs I'm still growing that hopefully will do well. Here is the extra kale that I just threw in this garden, and I've been harvesting it. The leaves quite young, they saute quite tender. And then these Vita Mache greens, I'm going to, aren't they just pretty? Just such pretty things. I think you eat them raw. I've never had them before, but I'm looking forward to having them in a salad or maybe in a recipe if that's how it goes. Here is the cilantro, which I'm surprised how well it's doing. It seems to be really happy right now. We'll see with the 87 degrees forecast tomorrow whether that holds or not. But boy, it smells good. And here is the parsley, and I've been harvesting that a lot. Check out how beautiful this cucumber seedling is. I hope when I transplant it, which I'm going to be really careful with the root and not to crack it, I'm hoping it'll survive the transport well, because it's a pretty big plant. As for the cool weather crops, you can see the arugula I'm letting go to seed because I want to harvest the seeds. I'm doing that for a few plants, but then I also have new ones that I planted recently growing. It looks like some critter has been making a hole to come up in here. That's new. What's this hole? Maybe it's if it's a snake, it looks like a snake size. That would be great, but it could be something else. I definitely need to harvest this Simpson lettuce again. You recall last video I harvested quite a bit. And then these are also my dinosaur kale plants, which are doing great. The carrots here, I'm glad to see that all of them have sprouted. See little seedlings. And some of them doing pretty good. I don't know if they get enough sun to produce really big carrots or not. We will find out. And you remember when I pulled that big patch of lettuce out in the last video? I planted a marigold there just because it's pretty, and it also helps, I've heard, control pests. I don't know. Might have attracted the snake. But anyway, for the beets, which we have some growing here as well, I don't think they're getting enough sun, partly because of the kale, and in general, to really produce root beet vegetables. But the greens are edible, so worst case scenario, if in a week or two I don't see some real progress on them being made, I will just harvest the greens and saute them up and eat them. One latest addition to the garden is my red sales lettuce. It's supposed to be more heat tolerant, and I'm going to experiment with not thinning them and see how they perform. Hopefully in a week or two we'll see some more progress. The raspberry plants are getting flowers, which is awesome. Hey, little guy. They won't produce till this fall. This one will produce this fall, and that one won't produce till next spring, but should be good. Strawberries are doing well. You can see more flowers coming along. So hopefully that means that we will have strawberries in a couple weeks. And then this is making me super, super happy. Look, these little baby beans. Woohoo! That is going to be so awesome. My peas are finally starting to produce vegetables, which is great. Here we also have another plant that hasn't done so well, and I'm kind of surprised by it, the Swiss chard. These leaves aren't super big, at least not as big as I'm used to seeing them. So I'm wondering if maybe they don't get enough sun. We'll see in the next week or two again with the heat coming, and whether they go to seed or whether we can harvest them and just enjoy them. Here's the radishes. I've already harvested some here, but look, this one's ready to harvest, but some aren't quite big enough. As for my flower beds, they're doing pretty good. Here's the one in the back. These are my bachelor's buttons plants, which are pretty tall, you can see. And the plants I planted last weekend, which don't, you know, hopefully they're getting enough shade. They survived the frost, so I'm pretty excited about that. Those are the cleomes, and that is the, shoot, I keep forgetting. It's the one that has red flowers. Before we go to the front yard, there's one last bit of business, which is this garden, which was supposed to be my tomato and peppers garden. While the flowers here, these are my nasturtiums, are doing beautifully, and there's even some baby buds starting to develop. I think those are baby buds down here starting to develop. I'm gonna have to transplant them, and I'm moving this whole square to the front yard where it'll get more sun, because it's just, I've been watching with the shade from the trees, from the neighbors' yards as well. There just isn't more than 3 hours of real good sunlight on this patch of the garden, and honestly, not much more for the other shaded beds. So I'm really not looking forward to, on Saturday, hauling all this crap to the front. But I'm gonna have to. And I'll probably do a video to show you how it goes. Now I'm gonna show you the front beds. As for the front bed, flower bed, it's doing pretty good. The zinnias survived, everything survived 2 or 3 days of frost, which was great. The coxcomb looks like it's doing pretty well, pretty healthy. The zinnias, those spots were there before the frost, and I don't see any big frost burns on the top, which is great. The cleomes, they're just going bonkers, they're taking off. More of the zinnias. The coxcomb over here was already having a tough time, and we'll see how it does going forward. Hopefully the warm weather, and I'm going to give them a real good soaking tomorrow morning, will revive them a little more. There's the marigolds, and then in that corner there's more, I think that's the globe amaranth, which I'm also growing more seedlings of because they're just beautiful for cutting. As for what I'm going to do back here, I'm probably going to put, even though I spent all this time digging over here, I'm probably going to put the square foot garden that I'm moving from the back to this spot. And I'll have to have some space on the other side of the square foot garden to be able to walk around. So that probably means this garden will be from here over to here. And gosh, I hate cutting through the cloth that the prior owners left here, but I might have to widen this, because this just isn't going to be wide enough to add the extra plants I'd planned on planting in the front yard. So we will see how it turns out, and like I said, I will include you on the video when I do that. And I'm going to end, sorry, the fingers there, it's a beautiful view of the lavender verbena plants. Aren't they just so pretty? They just decided to survive the winter for me and bring some beautiful purple into my life. If you like this video, please hit that like button, and also please subscribe if you haven't already. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Have a good day.